So there are multiple vendors who offer software solutions for helping to automate the claims process. Can you tell me what were some of the factors that affected your company's decision-making process, and who was involved in the selection or decision-making process? And then lastly, how important was it to include multiple stakeholders? And I'm going to throw that first question to you, Jackie, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So we have a lot of vendor partners that automate the process for our adjusters and a number of manual functions that we do in-house. I'd like to bring up the example of our newer medical records retrieval partner, as well as some automation that happens out of our core claims management system. Assuming that the solution the vendor has meets our needs, there are really several factors that we look at before deciding whether to partner with any vendor. So we look at things like, do they or will they have offerings that align to our strategy? Are they reinvesting in the product to bring new services to market and to enhance the services they already offer? Do they share our values? So what is their level of service quality, reputation, and stability? Are they willing to change and grow with us? Are their costs competitive? Are they financially stable? And there we're partnering with sourcing and vendor management. We want to make sure that the product fits the Erie technology architecture direction that we're heading in, and whether they allow for us to bring data back into our own systems. System security, data, always really important considerations. And we want their solutions to be scalable and flexible, or at least capable of being integrated and considered to be enterprise solutions. So as to who's involved in the process, we typically have core teams consisting of corporate and field employees who drive the process and are responsible for key decisions along the way. Involving multiple stakeholders is a really important part of the process, as early as it makes sense. So without each stakeholder having input, it's really too easy to miss upstream and downstream impacts, which can cause your initiative to fail or to be far less effective. So we routinely find ourselves partnering with areas like IT, legal, learning and development, sourcing and vendor management, and other areas across the company to help us with these key decisions.
Wow, it really does take a lot of people to implement this. That's great. Yeah. Tori, can you kind of give us the view from USAA and how some of the things that you've implemented there?
Yeah, well, I think, Jackie, you answered that question so well. I don't think I have too much to add on top of that. I would say similarly, we really go across the spectrum of what is the entire ecosystem of claims. And when you look at that all in ecosystem, the stakeholders are also the experts, because at the end of the day, I'm not an expert in everything. I'm actually an expert in very little things. But the stakeholders are not only our stakeholders, they're also the experts that we turn to make sure that we're making the most informed decision. And so similar to Jackie, utilizing the expertise of our frontline adjusters, because they're the ones that are going to be using the system, from our data partners, from our business owners, our technology office. As much as our stakeholders were across the table because they had stake in the product, they were also there because their opinion, their expertise in the information that they provided is critical, and they're invaluable to have at the table.
Darren, is there anything that you want to add from Hippo's perspective?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I agree with both those answers. I mean, obviously cost, ease of use, return on investment, that kind of thing. But one thing I kind of like to add to that also is something that I kind of consider cultural fit too. You're working very closely with these teams to make improvements for not only the customers, but the adjusting team. And so you have to have a good working relationship with various partners. And I think that also really helps. And then as far as stakeholders, yes, I mean, everything from our product team, our IT and development team, adjusting project managers, even up to marketing, in terms of getting the message out as to what we're doing. So
great. All right. And Tim, you have a rather unique view because of your position in the industry. Anything that you would like to share with our audience as well?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, obviously the panel addressed it from a really high level point of view. I think, slightly more granularly, we see really kind of two avenues, right? So one is companies identify business specific issues that they have, and then they go look for functionality. And then you have the other angle where you have technology companies that come and introduce a new way of thinking to the insurance company, and they say, hey, we really like how that works, and we can incorporate that into our process. And so they decide to modify their existing process to incorporate that particular type of technology. And so we've seen, I mean, obviously, it goes across the spectrum from, it could be a single subject matter expert within the insurance company to a full cross-functional team, like some of the panel members mentioned. I think one consistent thing we're starting to see across the industry is IT is less driving the business these days, and the business lines are now driving more of the business, as opposed to, IT used to kind of go back in a back room and create some sort of software program and bring it back and deliver it. But I think, what you see is, especially with some of the mid-sized carriers, is the IT guys have a full-time job keeping the lights on, keeping the system just up and running and sort of stitched together, but they're not also coding experts and software development experts. And so you've got to have a whole entirely separate team to do those type of particular applications. So, and obviously at the end of the day, as I'm sure the panel members say, that the easier you can make it on the frontline employees, the folks that are using it every day, the better off everybody is.